He said, "Trust me." And in that moment, the world began to end. The night split open as Elara's hands pressed against the wound of a man who shouldn't exist. A stranger pulled from the realm of shadow. His blood shimmered like ink in light intertwined. The wind howled through the forest of mirrors, whispering her name like a warning. What if the man you healed was born to destroy you? Why did his touch feel like home and doom at once? What happens when trust becomes the weapon that breaks you? Elara is the stranger within her cottage, pretending he's a wandering trader. His silence unnerves her, every word feels rehearsed, every glance a test. Yet when he smiles faintly in sleep, something inside her softens. She tells herself it's mercy, not fate. He wakes and calls her name as if he's known it forever. "Elara," he says, like a prayer pulled from another life. The sound trembles through her. A stranger shouldn't know her name. But before she can question him, his hand brushes hers, and warmth floods her veins like sunrise. Outside, the forest whispers. The ether mirror ripples faintly, reacting to their bond. In Ilarian's citadel, Queen Serenia feels the tremor. The prophecy is stirring again after decades of silence. She knows what this means. The daughter of light has touched the air of darkness. Out dusk, Kayla stands by the window, watching the rain. "Thank you," he murmurs, voice low, carrying more sorrow than gratitude. Elara wants to ask who he really is. But instead, she whispers back, "I trust you." And that's when he finally looks at her, as if her trust had just sealed her fate. Days pass in Kiet Riv. The wounded stranger regains his strength, yet his eyes remain fixed on the horizon, as though waiting for the night to call him home. Elara feels the air shifting when he's near. The candles flicker, the shadows lengthen. She tells herself it's only magic, not destiny, but even lies sound gentle when whispered by hope. When the storm breaks, they walk together through the drenched forest. She laughs, a rare, unguarded sound. For a moment, Kale forgets the crown of shadows waiting beyond the mirror. For a moment, he's just a man in love with a girl who shouldn't have trusted him. At night, Kale dreams of Nareth, the realm he abandoned. Fire and shadow twist through his mind, voices calling him traitor and prince in the same breath. When he wakes, Elara's hand is already on his cheek, steady and warm. "It's just a dream," she whispers, but some dreams bleed into prophecy. Far above, in the Golden Citadel, Prince Siren feels the shift. His sister's light no longer shines pure. The oracle's crystal pool ripples, showing two figures standing where light meets shadow. The heart of dusk has been chosen. The oracle murmurs, and the mirror remembers. Siren grips his blade, knowing fate has already begun to move. That night, Kale watches Elara as she sleeps, her heartbeat steady, her trust unshaken. He traces the mark on his wrist, the same one glowing faintly on hers. When he touches it, the ether mirror hums softly from afar, as though remembering their blood. He knows he should leave, but instead, he stays, because leaving her now would destroy him faster than destiny ever could. The morning feels wrong. The forest is too still, the air too heavy. When Elara opens her window, the sunlight bends unnaturally, like glass warping under unseen heat. The mark on her wrist burns faintly. Somewhere deep inside her, she knows The magic she awakened wasn't meant to exist in this world. Kale returns from gathering herbs, his cloak damp with dew, his expression unreadable. Elara confronts him, the mark on their wrists, the mirrors hum, the way the shadows seem to move when he breathes. "Who are you really?" she asks. He opens his mouth, but the forest answers first, whispering his name like a curse. That night, the Oracle of Glass appears before Queen Serenia once more. "The heart of dusk has been healed," she says, "and the curse has begun to bleed." Serenia's grip tightens on her staff. She knows only one healer could have done this. Her daughter. The prophecy she buried now claws its way back into the light. Elara searches the cottage after Kale storms out. In his satchel, she finds a pendant. Black stone wrapped in silver wire, carved with the sigil of Nerith. Her heart stutters. The stories said only Shadowborn princes carried such marks. She realizes then what he's been hiding, and who he truly is. When Kale returns, his voice is raw, desperate. "I wanted to tell you," he says. But she steps back, eyes bright with betrayal. "You said trust you." The wind surges through the cottage, blowing out the candles. For a heartbeat, the ether mirror's reflection appears in the window, showing them not as lovers, but as enemies bound by fate. The night turns against them. The ether mirror fractures, and the first tear between realms begins to open. Kale begs her to listen, but his words are swallowed by the roar of the storm. Shadows spill across the trees like living smoke, and Elara realizes too late. This was never a rescue. It was a summoning. A tells her everything, that he is the exiled prince of Nerith, cursed to bridge their worlds, that her healing sealed their souls together, that his father's army is already on its way. "I didn't want this," he says. But she can't hear the regret, only the sound of betrayal echoing between his words. In the citadel, Queen Serenia sees the flames from afar and knows the prophecy has begun. "Summon the Sun Guard," she commands, her voice trembling for the first time in years. Siren looks at her, eyes wide with disbelief. "You knew?" The truth cuts deeper than any blade. A mother's silence has doomed them all. Elara runs through the forest, heart shattering, rain blurring her sight. Behind her, Kale calls her name, not as a prince, but as a man broken by his own lies. She turns just once, sees him on his knees, hand outstretched. The mark on their wrists glows the same. Light and darkness, trying desperately to hold on, as destiny tears them apart. By dawn, the forest burns. The mirror's crack widens, and creatures of dusk slip through, shadows with wings of smoke and eyes like dying stars. Kale watches them in horror. His kingdom is crossing over. His kingdom is crossing over. His love has become the key to war. And as the world begins to fall, Elara whispers through tears, "I trusted you, and that was my mistake." Elara wakes in chains. The golden walls of Elarian's citadel no longer feel like home. Only a cage built from her mother's fear. Her magic has been sealed, her wrists bound with runes that dim the mark she shares with Kale. Through the window, she can still feel him. Distant, broken, alive. Queen Serenia visits her daughter in silence. There are no guards, no words, Only two women separated by fate. I did what I thought was right. Elara says softly. You broke the world, her mother whispers. Yet in her trembling hand, Serenia hides a single tear. The one she'll never let fall. In the wastelands beyond Nerith, Kale wanders alone. The shadows no longer obey him. They mock him, whispering her name like a ghost. His scar burns, his wrist mark darkens. For the first time, the Prince of Dusk feels what mortals call sorrow. And it breaks him in ways war never could. In her dreams, Elara stands by the ether mirror, whole again, shimmering between light and shadow. Kale appears across the surface, his hand pressed to the other side. They cannot touch, cannot speak, but somehow their hearts find each other in the silence. It's not forgiveness, not yet, but it's something close. Cedern visits Elara in secret. Mother plans to destroy the mirror, he warns. It's the only way to end the curse. But Elara knows destroying the mirror means ending Kale too. The choice builds inside her like fire, the kind that doesn't burn, but consumes. Then I'll find him first, she whispers, and the mark on her wrist flares to life again. The night Elara escapes, the stars vanish. The ether mirrors hum guides her steps through the silent woods. She no longer fears the darkness, is the only path that still leads to him. Her wrists still bleed from the broken runes, but she doesn't stop, not until she finds Kale, or what's left of him. In the desolate wastelands of Nerith, Kale kneels before the ruins of his father's throne. The air trembles with ancient voices, ghosts of the fallen calling him home. He holds his sword to his heart, whispering a vow to end the curse by ending himself. But even as he raises the blade, he feels her moving toward him through the veil. Elara steps through the ether mirror, her body shaking, her light dimming, and for the first time, she sees Nerith with her own eyes. It's beautiful in its decay, black rivers reflecting stars, ash fields glowing like embers. At its center, she sees him, kneeling, broken, still waiting. Kale she breathes, and the world exhales. When their eyes meet, everything stops. The ghosts, the wind, even the fire. You shouldn't have come, Kale says. You shouldn't have lied, she answers. Then she takes his hand. Light rushes through the wasteland, searing their skin, binding them again. This time, not by accident, but by choice. The oracle appears between them. Her voice, neither kind nor cruel. One life to mend the mirror, she says. One love to end the curse. Kale smiles faintly. Then let it be mine. Elara shakes her head, clutching his hand tighter. Not this time. Their eyes lock, two halves of the same fate, daring destiny to choose. The sky weeps fire. The horizon splits in two as the ether mirror screams, light and shadow spilling into one another like rivers of pain. The ground trembles beneath their feet. The air itself seems to tear apart. Kale stands before Elara, wind tearing through his cloak, his eyes burning with both love and despair. It's begun, he says softly, watching the mirror collapse behind her. She can barely hear him over the thunder, yet his words reach her heart like a whisper meant only for her. The oracle's voice echoes through the storm. Distant but clear, the bond must break, or the world will. Ilara's chest tightens as the weight of every choice presses down on her shoulders. Her mother's silence, Cal's lies, her own trust that began this end. Cale takes a step closer, rain sliding down, his face like tears. If one of us must fall, he whispers, let it be me. But in his eyes, she sees what he truly means. He'd rather die than lose her again. Elara refuses to step back. No. She breathes, voice trembling but steady. You think death will save us. It won't. Cale looks at her, his expression torn between love and defeat, and it hurts more than any wound she's ever healed. The ground splits between them, veins of molten light racing outward, each pulse carrying the echo of the bond they share. She moves closer, ignoring the shards of mirror, slicing her feet. We finish this together, she says, tears streaming down her face. He shakes his head, but she catches his hand. The marks on their wrists ignite, gold and black spiraling together until their skin burns. Pain surges through both of them, 1,000 memories flashing. Their first meeting, his first lie, her first act of trust. And then silence. The storm freezes mid-motion, rain, hanging suspended in the air. For a single heartbeat, the universe holds its breath as two souls defy their fates. The blinding storm begins to clear. And from its light, another figure steps forward, Queen Serenia. Her crown is cracked, her robes torn, but her presence still commands the air. Elara! She cries, her voice breaking in a way no one has ever heard before. Cale turns, ready to defend her daughter, but Elara steps ahead, calm and radiant. Mother, she says softly. Serenia falls to her knees as the light between worlds flickers and fades. Please, the queen whispers, come home. But Elara, Inse, patch her home. Smiles. This is home, she says, looking from the realm of shadow to the realm of light. Both worlds, one heart. Serenia reaches out, but her hand meets only light. The mark on Elara's wrist glows brighter than ever before, the flame of love and sacrifice merging into something eternal. The oracle's voice returns, softer now. Not a command, but a benediction. The mirror remembers those who chose love over destiny. Her body fractures into countless shards that float upward, scattering into the light like stars reborn. Cale turns to Elara, their fingers intertwined. You taught me what trust means, he says, his voice barely above a whisper. She smiles through her tears. And you taught me what it costs. He leans his forehead against hers, their bond pulsing once, twice, then bursting outward in a wave of blinding light that devours everything. For an instant, they are infinite, two souls burning together brighter than the sun. The mirror shatters behind them, its pieces soaring across both realms, carrying the echo of their names into eternity. When the light fades, silence follows. No thunder, no screams, only peace. The ether mirror is gone. In its place, a tranquil valley where dawn and dusk blend like two halves of the same breath. The war is over. The worlds are one. In the center of the valley, a single white flower grows between cracks of glass and stone. Prince Siren kneels beside it, his armor glinting faintly in the soft twilight. His fingers brush the petals. Warm? Alive? They kept their promise, he murmurs. A gentle breeze answers him, carrying a familiar voice, soft as memory. Trust me. He looks up, and for just a moment he sees them. Elara and Kale, standing hand in hand above the horizon, made of light and shadow intertwined. Then they fade into the sun, leaving behind only the echo of their love and a world forever changed by it.